This is Laricy Live, and I'm your host, Matt Laricy. We're giving you unfiltered access to the world of real estate, where we can cover the market trends, news, and honest answers to keep you ahead of the real estate game. Laricy Live is brought to you by Lincoln Title. Lincoln Title is the best and most efficient title company in Chicago and is the best place to close your property. This podcast is brought to you by Titan Builders. Titan Builders have been remodeling condos and homes in the Chicagoland area for over 35 years. Whether it's remodeling your kitchen or bathroom or getting your home ready for sale, Mike and Mark are your go-to guys. Laricy Live is brought to you by Guaranteed Rate and Ben Cohen. Ben Cohen is the #1 lender in Illinois and can close your loan in as fast as 8 days. Okay, so today we're talking about the summer market, the summer buyer, what's been happening. There's a lot that's happening in the industry, in the market, and I thought it would be good to kind of talk about like who's buying this summer. What are we going to be kind of seeing? A big buyer for the summer, in my opinion, is the first-time buyer. So I thought we'd bring in the two youngest people on the team who work a lot with our first-time buyers. We have Katerina Perulis. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
I can never say Katerina's last name. I'm still struggling to say my own last name, guys. So like people out there who are getting hating on it. Katerina's a second generation agent, or how many generations back are we going?
Step family, second.
Second. Mm-hmm. Her dad owns a bank that she doesn't talk about. What's the bank that your dad owns?
Lakeside.
The Lakeside Bank. Like if I just tell the Katerina, like she's like if I was Katerina and like I was walking into an appointment, somebody's like, "Oh, are you really experienced?" I'd be like, "Yeah, my dad owns a bank." Like, next question. Like, doesn't throw that out there though. You're a little bit more like kind of like toned down than I think. I think we need to tone it up a little bit on that front. And then our other our newest agent, Lexi. I can't say this last name.
What?
Sandroff.
What is it like?
Gandalf.
Another language.
Is it Gandalf?
Sandroff.
Sandroff, like Gandalf.
Yeah, sure.
Like Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
She is actually related to a couple guys that were in Lord of the Rings.
Yes,
in
correct.
case you guys were interested. What house did you get when you did the Harry Potter thing? By the way, anybody who comes on the Laricy team has to take that Harry Potter quiz.
Okay, but to be fair, I've never seen Harry Potter.
Okay, what was the house?
The one you wanted.
I didn't want it.
Gandrith?
Gandalf? Gryffindor?
Gryffindor.
And it became the Gryffindor.
Serpentine?
Slytherin. Slytherin. I mean, there's HBO's got a new series coming out. This girl's. I told her she's gonna start reading the books. What were you when you did it? Were you Slytherin?
I was Gryffindor.
You were Gryffindor?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I see you
we're
were as a
legends.
Slytherin.
That was like the next highest one.
Okay. Mickey's also a Gryffindor. Everybody else in the office is Slytherins except for like, I think Jamie is like a Hufflepuff. Oh no, she's a Ravenclaw. She's a Ravenclaw. And everybody else are Slytherins, which is not a good look for us. But,
Probably not.
Well, they're ambitious. Ambitious people.
It's good. Yeah.
That's why, Gryffindor's kind of weaker ones.
Okay.
Okay. That's fine. But anyway, so where were you working before for everybody? Because this is Katerina's second appearance.
Yes.
This is going to be where were you before this? Just so our people out here can know.
Hello, I was still in real estate. I was just with another brokerage.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, and then she came here?
I came here, this guy poached me around, and here we
I
are.
didn't poach anybody. JC poached people.
Well,
so,
two boys on the team.
two gentlemen.
Two gentlemen.
How's your experience been here so far?
Very good. Crazy.
How do you like cold calls that come into the office from random people?
Oh, it's a blast.
Selling things.
Yeah.
Okay.
You really got to hook them before they hang up and say,
Yeah.
thank you so much, goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys both have been you both work with younger first-time buyers, right? Mm-hmm. And you see a lot of this going on. And now we're in the summer market. Kat, have you seen a big difference in the mentality just in the past, let's call it week? We're in the first week of June. Have you seen a difference from now compared to like first week of February?
Yes, for sure. I think people aren't as, even just from a month ago, I think people aren't as like nervous. I think people are slowing down a little bit. That's been my experience.
Mm-hmm. Lex?
I think it's been a little
Lexi,
bit.
who drives the Lexus.
Beep, beep.
By the way, can we I got to interrupt this. These people are going to drive nuts. But like, Lexi also never had a car before now. And can we just tell the story really quick about what happened the first day you got a car?
Okay, first of all, let's give a little applause for myself because I got a new job, got a car, learn to drive in the city, learn to drive people, and it's been a month. So don't tell me I can't do anything.
What was the first day you got a car? What happened?
It was actually the second day. I pulled up to an inspection, waving to my team member JC across the street, parking. I'm parallel parking, pulling in. A CTA bus hits my car.
So,
So-
car accident.
Yes, correct.
First day on the job.
But it wasn't my fault. Chicago's 100% liable.
Okay.
So thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when you don't drive in the city.
No,
prior
but now
to-
we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, go back to the question here. I just had to throw that story.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Lexi and the Lexus, 'cause
No.
that's what we call her. That's what she saved in my phone as.
Yeah. No, I feel like there's a lot of first-time home buyers that like their lease is either expiring and they're on a month-to-month and they're debating whether they're gonna buy or rent.
Yep.
Rent rates are so high. I just feel like people don't realize that it actually is similar to the price of a mortgage and you're just giving all your money to a landlord. I know a lot of people say that there's a lot of expenses that go into purchasing, but like these people that are renting at rental buildings, you're paying the same amount.
You know, you guys both work with a lot of renters too that like become buyers.
Yeah.
This is the big thing I talk about because people always ask me like, why is it busier in the spring than summer? I say because we're tired of these rental cycles. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't realize how expensive a lease is. Like one bedroom's like $3,000, right?
At least.
It's insane.
It's insane.
No, a one bedroom
charge
with
more for
washer
one
and dryer
Yeah.
used to be like, oh, 2,500.
Yeah.
3K minimum now. And it's like a dated unit. It's crazy.
2,500 is like unheard of.
No.
In the
Yeah.
professionally managed buildings, they start at like studios I've seen at like 31.
Totally.
Really?
Rental buildings are insane.
Like around here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So, what am I
Yeah.
doing with my rentals, guys?
Yeah.
I got updated one bedroom. I'm getting like 26, 27. I was bragging about
What?
that. That was a good price.
What?
Matt,
Wow.
up that shit.
No,
Wow.
that's
Wow.
insane.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
I'm getting taking the cleaners here.
Yeah.
But so people are seeing these, let's call it $3,000 for a one bedroom in a nicer building, and then they're taking a look at a one bedroom in River North with washer already for like $280 right now.
Yeah.
We just sold one for $275. It's a beautiful unit. So that's cheaper a month. That's
It
less than
is,
$3,000.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're putting down 20%.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are turning into buyers, and so when we look at this, if we just say like, who do we think the summer buyer is? Do you think most of them are people that are renting right now? They're like have end of lease because a lot of leases come due March and April, but then like March, April, May, right? So I know there's a big block in August. Do you see? Are you guys seeing a lot of people who are coming with August lease end dates?
Yeah.
Definitely contemplating it, yeah.
Yeah.
How-
I think I've seen a lot of people on this month to month, which is kind of interesting because they're like waiting for a good time, but honestly, like the good time is now. There's going to be less inventory later on, so I think there's a lot of people that are just on the fence.
There's a lot
right
of
now.
people that are debating between buying and renting.
Yeah.
And you guys work with a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
What makes them want to go to buy rather than rent?
I think just because of how high rent is.
Just pushes them into it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so competitive right now for rentals. I think a lot of people are getting discouraged. I mean, a lot of places have like several applications.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy that like rentals, there's a lot of competition?
There's,
and,
like,
and like River North
outbidding.
Go-Go's and stuff like that. But like on the sales side, like our one bedrooms just sit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they just get nobody looking at
No,
them.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So if you think about it like that, like think about this, like we had that one, I just put in a contract on Kingsbury, like that's $320 all in. And like you look at like the rent on that, he was getting, I think almost like $2,800 for it. But like for the sale part, like, I mean, and he flipped it to a rental the day we took an offer on it. We actually ended up getting 2 offers on it. And he had like 10 people want to rent it out like first day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, because there's no inventory.
So the rental market's more competitive than the sales market, the downtown markets.
Yes.
Yeah, the one thing else that I've kind of seen when we talk about like the summer market kind of slows down, what type of buyer is in the summer, is the amount of places you show. Have you
Yeah.
noticed this? So like this is the big thing to kind of think about is that like in the spring market, something comes up, they got to see it that day, show them one place, right? You might see that person once a week seeing one place, right? You were sent a tour yesterday. How many places did you show that one person? Like 10?
Yeah, about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe 40.
Yeah. You got a couple. I won't name names. You got a couple. They're doing 30, 40 at a time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Long day.
Yeah, and like my point is that in March or April, you don't get to look at 30 or 40 because there's not 30 or 40 places in the market.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And now today it's like every time. This is a good one to notice too. Is like every time you schedule an appointment, it's confirmed. How often you're seeing where people are like, oh, can we add these two?
Yeah.
Oh, all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
But in March and April, how often did it happen?
not nearly.
No.
Never.
As much.
Because guess
No.
what?
Yeah.
You didn't have as much inventory.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Right.
So this is a big thing that we're starting to see. Is we're going to start seeing a big prediction I had a couple months ago that I'm starting to see kind of come true is that we're going to show a lot more places before people decide. Whereas in the spring, you might show one person one place. They buy that one place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Now we're going to be averaging, I would say, a minimum of 20 to 30 places before they make a decision.
Yeah.
wait.
It'll be a big difference.
But I also
You
feel
know?
like that's people having backup plans, but they don't realize that then the more that you see, you miss out on the one you actually like. So I feel like it's kind of a
Lean in a little bit more.
it's a tale of two cities, as you might say.
Well, the Tale of Two Cities is different reference because as you bring that up, though, we're talking a lot about the downtown markets keeps having more and more inventory.
Yeah.
But the Lincoln Park is still pretty thin in a lot of the areas.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God, there's nothing.
The 450 and under in Lincoln Park or Lakeview is still extremely stupid high.
Mm-hmm.
But I am seeing like that 750 to $1 million, that duplex down type property, which has been really tough to get. Inventory is rapidly growing, and we are starting to see places kind of sit a little bit. We've listed a couple places this week, but we got a lot of pressure because they're not selling. They didn't sell first weekend, and people are now like, WTF? This is gonna be the big one. Is like everybody's so like used in the outskirts to sell first weekend that now when it doesn't sell,
Yeah.
people are like legitimately having panic attacks.
Yeah.
So when pressure season begins,
Yeah.
And
You start to get more wrinkles and stressed.
I know.
Now you're looking great.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this 20 years. I look this good. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, could you imagine? It's like I feel like I'm getting younger.
Yeah.
I think the stress like
It's
brings
where
me
you
down.
keep working.
Like it's my fountain. No? Have you seen old pictures of me, Gretchen? Which picture? Bring it over here.
He was a baby.
Which one? Let's show it to these people here. I think I've anti-aged.
Yeah.
Look at that. I look.
Oh, hold that up to the camera.
I look.
You do look so young.
I look older there. Look how much
What?
younger I look today.
Okay.
That was 10 years ago. Maybe.
Wow.
What year was that? It says at the bottom. What year was that?
It doesn't say it at the bottom.
Whatever. That was probably 2002.
Yeah, you look very young.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know where we're going with this. But yeah, get this out of here. Get this thing out of here.
We're leaving it up.
Yes.
Leave
It's
it up.
member-
Leave it up as a prop.
Yes.
But what were you even saying? I don't even know where we're going.
No, how like people are getting really frustrated if their place doesn't sell
when
within the
people don't
first
sell in the
weekend.
So we
Yeah.
actually, this is a big time. We get fired a lot around now. Always when you get a change of seasons, you get fired a lot. This is where you get fired from buyers because they didn't get what they wanted. And the bad thing is like now things are starting to loosen up, and now they're like, well, my other friends are getting stuff really quick. I'm like, well, we were looking in March and April and it's super competitive. And now
Yeah.
it's like not as competitive. Like,
Yeah.
I know you talk to people, and then like at the same time, sellers get frustrated because you change seasons and now you're in like a new market.
Yeah.
You went from spring to summer, and anytime you go from one market to another market, people get frustrated. Who do they blame? Well, but you guys.
Us, for sure.
I don't want to take.
All of us.
I don't want to take accountability. Right? No, I always take accountability.
No,
like,
yeah.
This is a big one that
It's
you're going to see.
competitive, yeah.
But I do think that we're going to see buyers take longer to make decisions.
Yeah,
Whereas in the
definitely.
in the spring, like you literally walk out the place. What do they say?
Let's make an offer.
Right?
Yeah.
How much over do I have to go?
Yeah.
You guys are calling me up like they said they want to offer 500 over.
You're like, cool, I got one for 100K over. I'm like,
Yeah.
sick, that's perfect.
Yeah, and then like they're like screaming at me, "Can you get it written up?" and blah blah. I'm like, all right, just settle down, okay? Like, give me a minute to think.
Well, they like have to.
And then
do
they're
it.
like, wait,
You
I
see what
actually,
I'm, can
I'm not
anybody
interested.
see like how this happens at all when these calls come in? Like anybody say needs to think about why I look younger here, okay? Like, and there's just two of these ones. You should see the rest of these guys. Like JC's like a 12-year-old schoolgirl. Like when he calls up screaming. But like my point is like you have this. Then what happens now? You guys call me up, say, I think they want to make an offer. They want comps. Do you not say this?
Well, that's what I was going to say is you let it marinate for a couple hours and then they're like, I think we're going to keep looking at other properties.
This is something I'm trying to teach Lexi. Is like you got to let them think at this
I
point.
do know that.
Because she goes, let's get them comps. They want to make an offer.
I don't say that.
Yeah, and then I do all the work, and then reach out to them like, yeah, we're got another couple rounds.
They're like,
of
we're
places.
gonna extend our lease actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
we're
okay,
gonna-
sick.
But the thing is, and this is something I try to teach everybody in the office, and for my buyers out there that are watching this, is that like people are not as decisive right now.
Mm-hmm.
They and the main reason that I believe this happens is that they see a place, they love it, right? And you guys may not have experienced this yet, but I literally experienced this yesterday. we're done. I'm dropping them off. And they go, hey, we saw this one come up on Zenlist. Can we see this tomorrow maybe with our other ones? So it's like they were like, we were talking about how much they loved it, like the whole ride. Like, we'll make an offer. And then I'm like dropping off like, can we see this?
Yeah.
Whereas like in March, they don't have that because that other place doesn't pop up.
Right.
Yeah.
And like the big thing that I see and a bit of advice for buyers out there is that like a lot of people in the summer think the grass is always going to be greener. I feel like, what if something better comes up?
Yeah.
Right? It's much like dating.
Yeah.
You know, you're in the dating pool, right?
I am in the dating pool.
You think somebody else better is going to come along, right? At some point, you know, you got to make a decision here, you know, and like you keep thinking and chasing and thinking, well, maybe somebody else will have this, right? And a lot of people right now in the summer market, they really like something, but they see more options come up, and I think sometimes too many options is like a bad thing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You know?
Agreed.
You ever sit down, like, I mean, I don't really have free time, but like, you know, you want to watch Netflix and like you get like
You
4
can't
shows.
figure it out
And then
which
like more
ones.
comes on and you're just
Yeah.
scrolling. And like next thing you know, an hour went by and like, I'm too tired. I'm just going to go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But you guys watch TV all the time. And
Not really.
did you watch Love
Oh,
Island?
speaking of, we've been waiting for this.
Did you watch Love Island?
Yes.
Did you watch Love Island?
No.
You don't watch Love Island?
I normally do.
Who's your favorite
I just haven't.
character?
I honestly don't like any of them right now. I'm not into it.
Shelley?
We just started. The blonde girl is kind of cute.
I texted you she was the most
Bella-
annoying.
yeah,
Bella.
yeah.
Of course you think she's cute.
She's the only one I think is cute. There's not. I'm hoping like new ones come in.
Okay.
By the way, guys, like I love
Shelley.
I love a good rom-com or like a stupid dating show.
Yes.
Like those are my favorite shows in the world.
Do you
Did you
watch
watch
Bachelor?
Temptation Island?
I love Temptation Island.
Yeah,
So
so
good.
good.
I love Temptation. It's like one of my favorite shows.
Insane.
It's
Like,
amazing.
I mean, here's why.
Let's watch it right now, honestly.
I mean, we could put it on.
Let's go.
But the reason I like the shows is because like I haven't seen the newest season of White Lotus. I haven't seen the newest season. Here's what happens. I don't have the luxury of being able to like put down my computer and watch the show.
Multitask.
You can't watch White Lotus and work.
You're right,
You just
right.
can't.
You can't.
Like you
You need
miss
to pay
something
attention.
and then like I'm like, wait. Then like an hour goes by, I look at my wife, I'm like, what happened to this?
No,
She's like,
same.
shut the fuck. She's like, just watch this. Get off the computer. Watch the show. Because I'm like, who's this guy now?
Yeah.
Where'd this guy come? She's like, he's been in 2 episodes. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like he has been.
And there's so many hidden connections.
Yeah.
You really have to pay
yeah,
attention.
and like so like I
Yeah.
unfortunately like in bed I have my laptop out and I'm like just working the entire time. And I like Love Island and these stupid shows because, like, in all honesty, like, you don't really need to be.
It's
you're like there.
mindless.
It's like I'm hanging out at the party.
Yeah.
And like I kind of like tune in when I want to tune in, but like it's just there. It's like
Yeah.
watching a train wreck. It's like you get to watch a train wreck when you want to. You look up, you see the people like getting in the wreck, and then you kind of go back down when things are kind of like blowing over.
Yeah.
The season so far, though, to me, I think the characters are not that great.
It takes a little bit for them to grow on you.
It
does.
We call those. By the way, my brother taught me this a long time ago. I'll give a shout out to my brother. It's called character building.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need some character building episodes. I just don't think any of the guys have that star power or charisma.
I hate when they're like 20.
They're
It's too young. They're like, I'm looking for a husband, and they're like 22. I'm like,
I feel like in my past life I moonlit as like a casting director, so I do feel
Same,
like
same.
I feel like I would have casted other people.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that the second round of people, because remember people get kicked off the show constantly.
yeah, you gotta watch it tonight.
Yeah, you haven't gotten into it.
Girl.
I didn't. I only made it halfway through the first episode. They're like 2 hours long. It's like,
They are.
It's
I
like,
love it.
It's like a little bit intense.
Good drama.
Yeah.
Where did this? How did we even get into this topic? I don't even know.
We made it though. That's all that matters.
Anyways, Love Island,
So-
5-star approval by the Laricy team.
Yes.
Wow, I had something important to talk about here, and then you got travel. Speaking of Love Island on Fiji Island, I see, and I talked about this in the summer shift. The big reason that we see a big slowdown in the marketplace is travel. Now, you guys are young. I feel like people your age, especially people who grew up with like parents who own banks, travel more often to more exotic places, right? Like when I was younger, I felt like if somebody, like people didn't travel as much as they travel today. Like I don't, if I had a friend that went to Europe, it was kind of like a big deal.
Yeah.
It's like nowadays, like people go to Europe and
Okay,
it's like,
that's because TikTok made Europe like trendy.
I mean.
It used to be like that's
I also
facts.
think it was like, maybe, I mean, most of my friends just couldn't afford it. I don't know.
No, but I just think like it used to be more of like a historical experience, and now it's like let me get content in Europe. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I also think that like,
I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, I go to Mykonos. But well, Gretchen's taking
Grace
like
is the best.
Gretchen's taking 3 months in Español, right?
Yeah, she's got
Like-
an amazing
España.
time.
What's it? España? España?
España.
I don't know. I barely speak English. But my point is that like people travel a lot more.
Yeah.
At least maybe because I got more successful and around people who have like more cash. But like when I was younger, like I didn't remember people traveling so much. And I do think that travel has a big effect on the marketplace. Like, how do you seeing this with your clients? Like, we got a weekend coming up. This is a Thursday. Are you seeing a lot of your clients out of town?
Yeah, I mean, especially when it gets nice out, I feel like people go to lake houses. Even if they're in Chicago, they want to like enjoy Chicago summer. So I feel like showings do kind of slow down for that reason.
On weekends?
Yeah.
Like this last
Weekends
Sunday was like
especially.
kind of like,
Like they want to go on the boat.
yeah.
Yeah.
They want to have a beach day.
I never. Why do people are so obsessed with boats? I hate boats.
Yeah.
Do you guys like boats? Well, you're younger.
Don't
You're
tell
both
Joe
younger.
that.
Yeah, Joe's
Joe's
got a
crying.
Yeah, yeah. I just think I never understand that you're stuck and you're trapped on water.
I mean, I just don't have friends that have boats.
I don't know. I'm
don't
sure.
know.
I
I
don't have
mean,
any
I
friends.
feel like in Chicago, it's kind of like, I don't like
Like the
jumping into Lake
playpen?
Michigan. It kind of grosses me out.
Oh,
so
I like
I'd
that.
rather be on a boat like where there's like a
In
beach.
Mykonos.
Yeah, Mykonos.
Ideal.
But my point is about the whole travel thing is that you mentioned it, you know, about just like a lot of people have lake houses or they just want to hang out. And what people don't realize is that affects showings on the weekends, which then makes market get slower and that creates less urgency.
Yeah.
And when people are like, well, I would think summer would be busier, it's like, I always look at intangibles that can affect the marketplace. And people just only look at like, well, I think summer's nice, so people would buy. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, it's summer, it's nice, so people are gonna like want to travel more, right? They're gonna want to like go out and hang out and enjoy life. Like this past Sunday, which was was the start of June, was like the first time I've made it home before 6 o'clock on a Sunday yet. Like yet. Like, and I was home by like 6:10, and like I walked in, and one of my kids looked at me, was like, "What are you doing home so early?" my Rome was like, the sun's still up. Why are you here? And they like thought they were in trouble. They're like, "What's going on?" I was like, "No, I'm home. I got pizza." They're like,
Pizza?
And Remy's like, "You got pizza? Why are you home?" And like everybody was like so confused. And I'm like, "Well, you could get home earlier because like it's just not as crazy on Sundays. Are like I'm home at like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so nuts."
And like to be fair, like you said, when we're knocking out like 10 properties in one day,
Right.
when it's humid in the summer,
Yeah. Well, here's a big
Who's-
thing we're gonna start getting, which is soon, is that like, and you just mentioned this about like people going on boats and stuff like that. It's like, it's Saturday, 10 a.m. You got a tour at noon, right?
You're not going.
A younger person under 30.
Yeah.
They got 6 tours lined up, right? 95 degrees out. It's just you know those days when
Yeah.
you walk outside, you're like, this is a nice day. You see all the people around, like the
Yeah.
restaurants out of nowhere just
Yes.
fucking slammed.
Everyone's
Yes.
on the,
Yeah.
making on the
Like,
patio.
yeah.
And we're like
working.
going,
Yeah.
we're like
yeah.
of the day.
Yeah, we're like in our suits and ties, and you guys are all dressed up. And
Sweating.
I'm like looking at my phone, like it's 10 o'clock, and people are like carrying cases
like,
of
are
Bud
people
Light down the
working?
street. Yeah, like
I'm like, I feel like a loser.
yeah. And then you're driving around, and then like you got this tour at 12, and like you're like prepared, you're ready to go, and like 11:30 rolls around, it's like, hey, I feel really sick.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go on. And I joke around with those guys, I'm like, just tell me you're going on. Like that guy's buddy just got a boat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's just
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna go hang out.
Yeah.
And like that affects the marketplace. Because
Yes.
here's the thing. What people don't realize, like, okay, well, that guy cancels. Well, guess what? A lot of other people cancel. And then people are like, well, I'm like kind of slow on Tuesday, so I'll just go on Tuesday and see it, right? And then next thing you know, like, our weekends are not as crazy.
Yeah.
Like, for me, like a non-crazy weekend is when I get home by like 5. For most people, it's like, oh, I never work till 5. But for me, it's like, wow, it's really slow.
Yeah.
But like you could do that in the summer. And like, but then like I noticed that I'm working much later Monday to Thursday
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
I am like
Yeah.
Friday to Sunday.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
way later. Especially Thursdays are really, really busy.
Well, and like with people working from home, I feel like they just leave their computer and they're like, I'll see you in an hour, you know?
And they
Yeah,
get
they
paid
could
for
do
it.
that.
Yeah, like, must be nice.
Those days are gonna be over so bad. But like that's a big thing.
Yeah.
So I do think, and I talked about this summer shift, but I am predicting that we will have double the showings during the week than we have during the weekends. That's my big one to really pay attention to.
Okay. Stay
That
tuned.
doesn't
circle
mean
back.
that you guys get to. So the younger people in the office have to work the latest, and aren't allowed to go out with
This
friends.
is the first time I'm learning.
Yeah, yeah. So they have to work the latest in the summertime.
Welcome to the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's already done. How many summers you been here? 2 or 1?
This will be my
Second.
second.
Okay.
Yeah, because I joined in December.
Yeah, we said this last time. Is that like a year here feels like a lifetime because we just move so quick.
A month has felt like 6 months, truthfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you go into a chamber of how
Yeah.
much more you learn.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
I tell people like when you came out, I'm like, we're busy, And they're like, well, I've been pretty busy. I'm like, yeah, we're like busy. It's like a different level of busy. They're like, yeah, no, I could totally handle it. And then people get thrown in. They're like, dude, you're like, I think I'm gonna have a panic attack. Like,
No,
you're here like 2 weeks.
I'm good.
Like, you know, like
I'm good.
I've been doing this almost 20 years running at this speed.
Yeah, no,
you know?
I'm good.
And I still look younger than that guy over there.
I hate when people at showings are like, "Are you guys busy?" I'm like, "You know the fucking answer."
Right.
I talked about this last time too. I hate when people ask me if I'm busy.
Yeah.
How do you even? What is the point of this?
They're like,
You
do
just-
you work weekends? I'm like, huh?
What do you mean?
Do you not?
But I'm saying like what is it in our industry that like the first? It is like literally you get there early. I'm never early, but you get there early, and then like you're sitting there. The agent looks. She's like, "So you busy?"
Right.
Isn't that the main? Why
They're
is
like,
that
did
the
you have
question?
showings today? I'm
Yeah.
like, clearly.
Like, what do you
Like
mean?
but
Like,
this is like showing number
cares?
25.
Like, I always tell people like, who cares? That's my new thing. I'm like, who cares if I'm busy?
Yeah.
Like, what's
Yeah.
the matter what I'm doing with my life?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you ask me like, what do I think? What's my favorite color?
Because they
Yeah.
want to be able to say that they're busy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so
yeah,
busy.
they're like, I'm busy. I'm like, oh, great. And then I'm supposed to, holy cow, I met
Right.
Jan Smith was busy. like, who cares? I don't know. That is the question. But you're going to start seeing, mark my words, and I talked about this, as you're going to start seeing people start saying, like, are you busy, though? Because, like, I'm slow. Like,
Yeah.
that's going to be the new one you're going to start hearing. Because they want you to, like, affirm them to make sure that they like,
Relate. Yeah.
That like, it's bad. So, like, that's when I kind of almost be like, yeah, as busy as I've ever been in my life. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost like a power move. Like, it's like, what? Like, I don't know why people care about it. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
What about the attitude change? Like, are you starting to see attitudes kind of change a little bit during the summer shift with your buyers? Meaning that, like, pessimistic. People are looking for, like, reasons to not buy.
Yes.
Well, I heard Jerome Powell's going to get fired. I think I'm going to get out of it. Like, Mickey he came in, he was actually, there's tears running down his face because Bitcoin dropped. And he was like, well, now the market's going to crash because Bitcoin went down. He had to invest in it was like a pig coin. What's a pig coin?
Pig coin?
Mickey, what's a pig coin?
Pig coin.
Moon pig.
The hell is
I
that?
don't,
Moon pig?
yeah, we're promoting. Did I buy moon pig?
Moon pig and fart coin.
Fart coin. These are real things. They're like
No, it's
publicly-
not.
Yes, it is.
You're gonna do well.
Yeah, this is what this guy invested in.
That's like a different language to me. I have no idea what
Fart
he's talking
coin?
Yeah, it's
This
huh?
world.
Digital currency.
Those are great investments. Solid.
Yeah,
Solid.
making it.
I love his accent.
Yeah, sorry.
Solid.
You guys got some moon pig.
Moon pig and fort pig.
But like
Coin?
this is what we start seeing is a change attitude. People start bringing up these like other coins that are out there to invest in, and people start using things for excuses. And this is why we start seeing prices drop a little bit during the
Yes.
summertime. It's
The
a change
world's never
attitude.
going to stop for you. I feel like people are always looking for an external factor of like, oh, I shouldn't do this because this is going to happen. But like, the truth is, you're spending the same money you're on rent. If you're debating, just do it.
Well, I actually loved it when the rates were really low, and then everybody would tell me like how well the market's really bad, so they were nervous to buy because they're like, well, I know the rate's really low, but prices are high, and the stock market's like really like kind of volatile. And I was like, well, the reason the rates are low is because the stock market's really volatile. And I was like, and I talked about this all the time. So like when you have money, like it doesn't really matter. It's really it's like if the rates are really high, like technically they're not even high. The American average is 6.5%, but like so the rates are 6.5 today. Okay, you could put your money in a CD right now, and on average they're anywhere from like 6.5 to 7%, which means that like you could give $100,000 to a bank, and they'll give you like 6.5% guaranteed back in 6 months. Okay, like when the rates were 2 to 3%, the CDs were like less. In fact, they were like less than 1%. Your savings account got less than 1%. Like the stock market was much more risky, but then you were getting 2 to 3% rates. Today, 6.5% rates, and like the stock market's up like 15%. Like it's like crazy.
Yeah.
So like I tell people, it's like those are the people who are always like when the rates were really low, they told me the market was going to crash and that the real estate market was going to crash. Go back to watch my podcast in October of 2020 when I was talking about the rates are down, like the stock market's not going to crash. Everybody told me the market was going to crash, and blah blah blah, and people were too afraid. Now the rates are high, like I think the market's going to crash.
Right.
So like we start seeing what I call this is the beginning of the fall buyers, the pessimist buyers. This is when you start to notice the mood change a little bit. They're not fully there yet, but mark my words, when you guys are touring with these buyers, you're gonna start seeing them start saying like, well, what do you think about the stock market? You know,
Right.
And also like we're stock experts. Like unless we're Mickey with Moonpeg and Fartcoin, we like nobody. We're not financial experts. We can only tell you like what we hear. I read
Yeah.
the stuff every day.
Right.
I meet with the guys to kind of talk about finance stuff, and I'm gonna
not finance experts.
Right.
And these kids who got like $10,000 bank account, they're also not finance experts. It's always those guys that tell you about what's going to happen in the
Right,
marketplace.
I know.
They're just looking for excuse to not buy. So like a lot of my people that are thinking about like summer buyers, like here's the thing to think about is that when there's blood in the water, that's when you strike. Like this one, you get better deals. All my buyers in March and April that kept getting outbid, like it's now like prices are different. So when we talk about price cuts, now prices are changed. When something comes up at $450, you can maybe get it for like $460, $470.
Yeah.
The place was $510 in June.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
in March or April.
Yeah,
So like that's a $50,000 swing sometimes.
Right.
Like it's that big of a difference.
it is.
You know, so like a big one I talk about is like watch for these price cuts because here's what's going to happen this summer, is that, and this is what leads to a bad fall market. But what happens is a place that's worth 400 comes on the market at 400 and it sells for 500 in March. Okay, so worth 400 sells for 500. The neighbor lists their place. It's like, hey, my place is worth more than Jan's place across the way.
Right.
I'm gonna list it 5 and 25. Right. So a place was originally worth 400, got bid up by one guy. All offers were at like 4 1/4. One guy gave 5. Neighbor comes up at 5 1/4. Doesn't sell. Drops it down to 500. Right. Doesn't sell. Drops it down to 475. Doesn't sell. Sells at 450. Right. You come in to me and go, hey, I want to buy, but prices are really dropping. Give me an example. Well, look at this one. This one just sold at 450, whereas like 2 months ago it sold for 5. And like and they start at 5 1/4, so like prices are really getting cut because the consumer's only seeing that. I'm like, yeah, I mean like that one. If you look at that one that sold at 5, it was originally listed at 400,
Right.
and it got bid up to 5.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it was worth 5. It was just one guy made a bad decision.
Yeah.
If one person makes a bad decision, that doesn't mean the whole market resets.
Yeah.
And the guy that just got it at 450 is actually, if you look at the comps today, where the market is probably worth 415. So he's still paying more than market value.
Right.
But the person perceives this as a market. And this is what we start seeing during the shift.
Yeah.
And what these summer buyers start thinking, why they get a little bit more hesitant, because they see these price cuts kind of start to happen.
Yeah.
And they start like talking themselves out of it, like the market's going to drop.
Right.
And then they're going to bring up to you like, hey, our price is going down. And you're like, well, it's just not as crazy because you
Yeah.
have more options. You know, people are traveling more. People have got like, you know, they're just not as like decisive. So the things stick on the market longer, right? So something comes up today, it doesn't sell today.
Yeah.
Sits for 2 weeks. So that property sits for 2 weeks. New inventory comes in the market, right? So that starts sticking.
Right.
So inventory starts building. And then like all those guys are out living their life, so demand starts dropping, right? So then it starts going like this. So I always say
Yeah.
July 4th is the equalizer. Once you hit July 4th, you start seeing the market get a little bit more balanced. That's when the shift is like really,
Right.
the summer market kind of gets really a little bit different. So with that being said, how many in the last week and a half that summer kind of has started? Multiple bids. How are you seeing those kind of play out? Are you seeing as many of them?
Not as many.
I think it depends what neighborhood.
That's very true too.
Well, let's take Lincoln Park out of it. Like Lincoln Park, I think, is gonna be
Yeah,
multiple bids all
yeah.
year. Like Lincoln Park's like on its own platform. You know,
Yeah.
it's like its own world. I think Lincoln Park will be, and somebody's watching this. Like, thank you for bringing that up because somebody's been watching. Like, well, I had a listing in Lincoln Park. I still got 10 offers. It's like, yeah, of
Yeah.
course. You get a $500,000 or less place in Lincoln Park all year is gonna be friggin' amazing. okay?
Right.
How's your $1.5 million duplex down doing Lincoln Park today? I'll tell you, it ain't gonna sell as fast as it did, you know, in March. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that right now. I'll put money on the table for that. You know, put that same place. We can do time travel. I'd like to just prove a point. You know, but what we're going to start seeing is like multiple bids will start slowing down because people, I'll give you an example. Because people aren't getting as many. What I'm seeing already happen last week is I'm calling saying, hey, do you have any offers? And they're like, well, I'm told I'm getting some.
I'm
Yes.
expecting
Yeah.
them.
Yes.
We've had 3 people say
Nothing
that they're
in
going to
hand.
Nothing in
yeah,
writing.
Yeah, that's it. Nothing in hand yet. But we'll
Okay.
probably call for highest and best by
Yes.
Sunday at noon.
Yes.
I'm like, well, probably because you have them or probably because you don't have them.
I think people do that to set urgency. They like
do.
lie about best and final. They have an open house, they call for best and final, and then people are like,
Well,
sometimes.
in the spring you could do that, but now
Right.
I got 3 places under contract Sunday of this week, and I called the bluff on all 3 agents.
Yeah.
They're like, we're expecting some, you know, and we'll have highest and best by then. And I just know them. I was just like, all right, call me after it comes in. I got a great offer for you, but we won't submit till you have it.
Right.
And then I was like, call them up to like, well, we have an offer. Like, you have an offer in writing? Because also people, by the way, it's like you can lose your license over this. You make up an offer, but I find people that just make shit up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well then we'll pass on it. Let me know if that one. I always say this: wish you the best. Congrats on the offer.
Yeah.
And then watch them call you back 2 hours
And they're
later.
like,
It's like, you know what? The people already got cold feet. Wow!
This one's not going to work.
They got
out.
cold feet in 2 hours? Who would have
Yeah.
thought? And like, listen,
Right.
you got to really be good at the job enough to know if somebody's full of shit. Like I could tell. I don't know what it is. That's why I call people. That's why it's so important to call and present an offer.
Yeah.
I can't tell in a text or email. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like
No.
you just can't tell.
Yeah.
You call a person up. You could tell. You can just tell. Like there's just a way they say it in their voice. The
Yeah.
hesitation. You know? No, we got the one. Oh, you got the one. Yeah. Okay, so you don't need mine. Well, I mean, you could still submit it. Oh, I can. Then I'm like, she doesn't got one.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I just know she's full of shit. Because here's the difference. You're like, hey, you got an offer? Yeah. All right, well then maybe I won't do it. Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you. I was like, oh, she's got one. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
if they tell you
yeah.
F off. That's always say. That's how I always tell people like if they're like, do you think we're the like if it's an agent I don't know? I'm like, here's how I know that I'm not the winning bidder or I'm not in the lead. They're not returning my calls. They're not calling me back. Right?
Yeah.
Because anytime I'm in the lead or anything like that, they get back to me. Like I'm like, hey, how we looking? You guys are looking good. Like you know, I'll keep you posted. Like they're also nervous to lose you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like when you're in a multiple bid, you're not the winner. You're like calm, and then like the text, you're like, "Hey, I'll get
They're
back."
like,
to
sorry,
you.
sellers
Yeah.
are traveling.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. Sellers are traveling. I'm telling
They're
you right now,
always traveling.
I give you $1 million. All of a sudden, the plane stops. You know what I mean? Like
they're
it's just,
sitting in the house.
So
They're not-
but we will start seeing more of the highest and best deadlines go away, and a big thing. Watch out for the summer, which I'm really looking forward to. The group showings will end. There will be no more group showings.
yeah.
No more like we're only showing it Saturday 11 to 12.
Yeah, I hate that.
Right.
Because like guess what? They're gonna show it whenever they can because it ain't gonna sell.
Right.
It ain't gonna sell first weekend.
I feel like they try and do that at the beginning to
Yeah.
set urgency, but then
Yeah.
it's like, all right, you're
And
just
then-
not going to show.
And then nobody shows up.
Right.
And then their heads on the chopping block.
yeah.
You know? So it's like, you know, we're like the only office where people can actually see when showings come in. That's the difference. So
Right.
like other people like they just make up stuff. What about some summer plans? Where are you guys going this summer? What's the big vacation we got planned?
I'm probably gonna go to Greece for a little.
She's like, this is when I put in my time off now.
We're not allowed to do
She's
vacation.
hopping on a boat.
All right, yeah.
How long is this Greece trip? And
Telling you now.
How come I did not know about this?
Because I still haven't I haven't booked my flight yet, but it won't be as long as last year.
Okay. Mickey's going away for a month.
I won't go. Mickey, when are you
Amazing.
going?
He's like going to like.
Damn, that's what happens when you're pretty much related to the boat.
Okay, I'm thinking like sometime
He's
in like
related, though.
I know.
like when things are slow, like end
August.
of August.
August you can take off.
Okay.
It's not approved.
That's also the time that I'll be gone, but only a couple days.
Where are you going?
You're going to laugh at me, but whatever. I'm going to Zion National Park hiking.
That's
Oh my
fun.
God! Look
For
at
my
Gretchen.
birthday, let's go. Only a couple days.
What didn't somebody like what's in Zion? Aren't there bears there?
Sure.
Okay.
Trees, nature.
It'll be gorgeous.
It-
The
gorgeous.
The odds you're gonna find me like hiking is like
Oh, I can't wait.
so you're just gonna hike through the forest?
Yeah.
Where are you gonna go to the bathroom?
You go to the bathroom before you hike.
Okay, but is there like whatever you gotta pee?
In the trees.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Really?
Gotta water it.
Aren't people like drinking all that water?
He's never gone. Have you ever gone on a hike ever?
No. Why would I go on? a
I
hike?
would pay to see you in like hiking
What are you doing?
shoes.
Like just like, hey guys.
in a
I would
camelback.
show up like this at the same time. Like where are we going, guys? Is there
Jesus.
cell service up there?
Yeah.
No.
Get up 10,000 feet.
Like, I gotta tell
It's
you.
really heavy.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
Aren't you going on? You're not going on a vacation. Not this summer.
First week of August. I'll be away for 5 days.
Where?
Amazing.
4 nights, 5 days.
You need that.
It's a whole family. It's not a vacation. It's a trip. There's a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to
yeah.
go with Mickey and Joe,
Wait, that's so fun.
and we rent a house, and we're all in the same house.
Wait, Joe?
Rook, he used to
coming?
work here. Joe, you used
Oh, someone else.
there. Yeah, Joe's been on the pod like numerous. Joe was here for like 3 years.
Okay.
So,
I thought you
like-
meant Jet Joe.
Yeah, no, not the little guy.
I was
The
like,
other guy.
what?
The other
Where
guy.
is he
The
coming?
other guy. Yeah, no, we do a family trip. It's
Oh,
not
that's
vacation, it's a
fun.
family trip.
Amazing.
So I work the whole time, and they all get to enjoy life, and they all go to the beach, and then they come back and sit on the computer.
Wow.
And then at night they see me. They like emerge from the darkness.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, we'll go to dinner.
You should take a beach day.
Yeah. Work on your tan.
I don't go in the ocean.
He's scared of sharks.
Yeah.
Terrified of
Yeah.
sharks.
In fact, I got very mad with the in-laws last year because they brought my kid into the ocean. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing?
That's good.
Yeah, that is good.
Dude,
You're gonna make them scared
we
of the ocean.
We were in the exact spot where those people, the 3 people, got bit last year. The exact spot.
It
like a
can
month
happen
later.
anywhere.
Yeah, well, like, guess what? Like, and I tell them, like, the house I rented, it's got a phenomenal pool. Nobody's getting bitten there. You want to sit on the beach and look at the ocean? Go ahead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put your little feet in, like, go ankle deep. But not even there. You got to watch for the tigers over there. They're big.
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah.
20-foot tigers out there.
Yeah.
Not 20, but like 18. I think it'll take you down. I'll tell you what. Anybody going to the beach this year? Watch this. Google, go on YouTube and look at the Egypt shark attack where you watch the
That was-
where the guy just gets completely
Stop.
eaten. Like you watch the whole thing. It's like 45 seconds
Ew.
long. The
I
guy's arm
saw
gets
that.
taken off, and his leg gets taken off, his other leg gets taken off, and then you watch the shark go over the top and just take his head right off.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 45 seconds.
So fucked up.
Yeah, and he's screaming, Papa!
That's why you're scared of
Screaming.
sharks, because you're watching this shit. Like, who
Well, because it can
watches
happen.
this?
It's like, you got to prepare yourself for battle. You know
All
what I
right.
mean? Like, so am I going in the ocean? The answer is no.
Okay.
Okay, the answer is
Fair.
no. It's not happening.
Stay in the pool.
Yeah, stay in the pool.
Stay in the pool.
One of those like floaty things I got the cell phone little tray. I got
Yes.
like a floatable like cell phone thing next to me. So it sits next to me. I got it
And
next
like
to
an
me.
inflatable?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like next to me. Yeah.
Amazing.
We're off topic. But anyways, biggest thing that you're going to see happen in the summer market. Go. What's your prediction? What's your one prediction for the summer market?
I think a lot of these buyers are probably going to stay as renters.
Renters posing as buyers.
Yes.
Okay.
I
What's
have
yours?
to agree. I think, and they're
You gotta
gonna
come up with your own though.
No, but that's what I was gonna say. But I think they're gonna regret it.
What's
Yes.
what's just a different one? What's another theory? What's another Lexi theory?
You're gonna have to cancel your boat plans to go on tours.
Okay.
You're gonna have to sacrifice.
My prediction is that we are going to see great pricing, and we're going to see properties that were once sellable in less than 24 hours will be sitting in the market for an average of 2 weeks. And for all my buyers out there that complained that the market was too hot and they thought the market was going to crash, this is the moment to get in. So don't miss out. Don't wait on this opportunity. Don't wait till next year and be like, well, we're just going to buy in January. And then you're like, well, I feel the market's hot again. I'm like, well, you're back in the cycle.
Right.
Anybody who decided to renew their lease, rip the Band-Aid off, sublet your place, get this deal while you can, you're going to miss out on it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. God bless.
God bless.
God bless.
Thanks for listening to Laricy Live.